I'm gonna tell you this. If I can capture something, I have it. If I can see it and capture the frequency of it, oh, I can get it. If I'm willing to put the work in, I can get it. Everybody can get it. But you gotta understand, man, that's the role of your ego, man. Hey, these brothers. On my last video, man, a brother asked me, could I break down the creation process in one video? Short answer, to get the full creation process, man, of course, y'all know it's a long process, but I will say this. I will say this, and this is vital, brothers. Never let your soul be influenced by your ego. Never let your soul, never let your spirit, never let that Christ side of yourselves be influenced by your ego. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, first you got to understand this, man, because a lot of times when people are talking about the spiritual self and the ego, a lot of people are talking about subduing the ego or crucifying the ego. That's the wrong answer also. You know what I'm saying? Because the ego is just as important as the physical side. Your physical side, your spiritual side. Your spiritual side and your physical side are both just as important. Yeah, I know one of them is the Christ side of ourselves. Yeah, I know that one of them is the actual, true part of ourselves. Like we don't even really reside here. We really reside. We're really operating this avatar from the spiritual world. So I'm not negating that, but I'm saying, when I'm talking about the first marriage of man, when man's higher self and his lower self become one, you gotta understand they're both just as equal. You know what I'm saying? And like when the Kabbalion talks about the half-truthers, a lot of people either put an excess amount of emphasis on the spiritual side, or they put an extra amount of emphasis on the spiritual side. You got to understand, but both of those people are going to be off balance in life. Not saying they're going to be wrong, but they're going to be off balance. Meaning their creation process is going to be kind of skewed a little bit. And to be honest, man, a lot of times we can become off balance. Like, nobody's just going to find this perfect Zen mode and lock in and stay there for life. Like, that's what life is about, man. Finding that balance. But you have to understand this first. Never let your spiritual side be influenced by your ego. Because you got to understand, your ego is being governed by the ways of this world. Your ego has only seen credit scores. Your ego has only seen limitations, and people said you can and can't do this, and oh, well, my skin is this color, and oh, I didn't go to this school, or I didn't got this. So your ego is saying that. But your spiritual side is saying, hey, all things are possible. That's why I'm saying never let your spiritual side be influenced by your ego, or you're screwed. You're done for. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say this. Your ego, because I want to talk about the role of the ego, man, because I want to talk about, if I can squeeze this into one video, your ego's role is to do recon. Your ego's role is to do recon. Meaning, when I'm always talking about, hey, bro, you have to live from the vision. Like, if you aren't living from the vision, like you're really just spinning your wheels. What do you think that data comes from? What do you think that data comes from to build your vision with? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, when I say you need to be submerging yourself in YouTube videos, you need to be submerging yourself. Like, if you're trying to move to Atlanta, you need to be submerging yourself in information about Atlanta. If you can drive to Atlanta and spend a weekend, do it. But because your ego is gathering data for your spiritual world. Y'all have heard me say when I moved to Dallas, man, I had $147 to my name. I filled my truck up and drove to Dallas, and all I did was 2015. No, 2015. All I did was walk around the city, kind of right now. I don't know if y'all can hear that construction in the background. All I did was walk around the city. I listened to that construction. All I did was smell the smells. I could smell all the restaurants. I could look at all the demeanors of all the people. You know what I'm saying? I was even inhaling the dog urine on the streets. I wanted all of it. I was looking at the buildings, man. I went and looked at my apartment. Couldn't afford nothing, brother. I was probably down to my last C note at that point in time. I'm walking around, and all I'm doing is recon. All I was doing was capturing it, man. Had no idea how I was going to make that transition. No idea. Having no idea that in the next 4 weeks, I would be living in those apartments I walked in. I would be parking my vehicle in those garages I was looking in saying, man, how do these people even function down here? So you got to understand, the ego is all about recon, man. Recon. Drive to that city, man. Go to that restaurant. Put yourself in that country club. Take a cheap flight to that city. Get a hotel room or just go there and walk around all day and go back. Whatever that situation, y'all have heard me tell these stories on a number of occasions. When y'all heard me, when I told y'all about how I got that job at Cummins, same thing I did. I waited till the weekend till everything was closed, man. I went to that Cummins parking lot and was peeking through the windows and driving through the parking lot. I'm gonna tell you this: if I can capture something, I have it. If I can see it and capture the frequency of it, oh, I can get it. If I'm willing to put the work in, I can get it. Everybody can get it. But you gotta understand, man, that's the role of your ego, man. That's the role of your ego. So understand that your ego has an important role, right? But then comes to the meeting of the minds. Then comes the meeting of the minds, right? Hence the word immortal minds, because two minds must come together and lock into unlimited possibility. In other words, your ego must come to your, and I'm figuratively speaking, y'all know this, right? Your ego must have a meeting with your spiritual self, and that sanctum sanctorum I'm always talking about, must have a meeting with your spiritual self and say, hey, you know what? This is what I saw. This is what I desire. This is what I saw. And of course, your ego is going to say, these are the limitations. Hey, you know what? I've never done this job in my life. I've never lived in this city. I don't know anybody with this career path. I've never been over here doing X, Y, Z. And the spiritual side is going to be like, hey, I got this, right? Take that information, man, and that's where the vision is built, man. That's where the vision is being built. And I don't have to go through that whole spiel. By now, I hope since yesterday, I hope y'all purchased the 4 levels of becoming. So I ain't got to go through that whole spiel, because that's a very detailed spiel. And if I give it to you and it's not in right order and in detail, I don't want to tell you something that's gonna lead you astray, man. Gonna lead you astray. But the ego has just as much importance, man. You know what I'm saying? And once you hand it off to that spiritual side, the ego's job is done for now. The ego's job is done for a minute, because this is. Let's go ahead and talk about it, man. Let's go ahead. We can keep it at a bird's eye view. Your ego is done. Your ego is done at that point, but the job is not finished yet, right? And I'm gonna tell you this: when it comes to like our grandparents and the generations before us, this is where I don't want to say they missed the bus, because they didn't miss the bus. They were tied into the spiritual world as much as they could be. Just like the generations behind us will know more than we have, right? But this is where they missed the bus, man. They were doing the first level. They were going to the spiritual side of themselves saying, hey, and the way they did it was, hey, Father God, this is what I'm praying for. We need this. Please bestow your blessings upon us. And then they would sit still and look up in the skies and wait on God to chef bay them with a little bit of salt. You know what I'm saying? When you've only completed half the process, you've only completed half the process. You're living without understanding that both sides possess you. And this gets down a whole nother conversation, man. This is when it bothers me. This is the part that bothers me when people are saying that, hey, this Jesus that you know, hey, he's not here. He doesn't exist anymore. He lived 2,000 years ago. Like, that's the whole reason why a lot of people don't understand they're supposed to be quarterbacking that spiritual side of themselves. It's because we've been trained that Jesus side of us is, hey, don't worry about that. You just send your prayers to this invisible space and let God handle it. No, God is on the sideline watching. And he's saying, hey, why aren't you passing the ball to your spouse? Why aren't you passing the ball to the other side of yourself to complete the mission? You know what I'm saying? So your spiritual side is supposed to go in the mind and create that world, right? And without going through detail, and I've said this on YouTube videos before, y'all understand the create. And I'll just say this: the most important part of the creation process when it comes to the spiritual side of yourself is understanding that emotional energy is pure God essence. When you can understand that emotional energy is pure God essence, and learn how to put that essence inside of your mental spiritual space, it's a ball game. It's a ball game. You know what I'm saying? So coming back to ego, because I want to focus on the ego. Once that vision is created, and trust me, man, I just skipped a whole nother conversation, but I don't want to get into that. Once that vision is built, because I say this a lot, and maybe I haven't broke it down yet. When I say you have to live from your vision, this is what I mean. And I've said this a time or two. I've said when you think about the messenger in the Bible, right? The only thing that made the messenger, Jesus, for y'all to get, the only thing that made the messenger different than everybody that was around him is he had full awareness that he was supposed to be operating in this physical self, operating ego, but living from the vision in his mind. Or how the Bible says it, living or conducting yourself as things are in heaven. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that I don't want to say that's a powerful place. That's the most powerful place you can live from. When I'm talking about the first marriage of man, that's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about a singular truth, that's what I'm talking about. When you can create a world in your mind and you put so much energy into what that world feels like, and you spent so much time in that world that you can take that frequency and extract it from your heaven and conduct yourself like that as you're living on this planet, ball game. Ball game. I'm not saying there won't be challenges and hurdles and all kind of things taking place. Ball game. That's all the messenger did. That's all the messenger taught. You know what I'm saying? That's all the messenger did. That's all the messenger taught, man. So when you hear me talking about a singular truth, in a nutshell, that's what I'm saying. See, when I say a singular truth, I'm saying there are no alternative truths. And what I mean by that is there are no versions where you're saying, there are no versions of you where you're saying, hey, I understand that all things, how to say in the Bible, all things are given to me through Christ, or I can do all things through Christ, but then coming onto the physical world and saying, oh, I got all these limitations. I'm gonna say it again. I need to say it a different way. There are no versions of you that are going to church on Sunday, crip walking on the pews. There are no versions of you going to Jummah on Fridays and prostrating to Mecca like it's all good. There are no versions of you, man, of going and putting the water on your forehead and eating the crackers and all the other things we do. There are no versions of you that are doing that. And then when you walk out of that establishment, you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm back in the world of limitation. Not saying that's not going to happen, but that's part of the process, overcoming that. Because of course that's going to happen at first, but the process is to overcome that. What do you think the purpose of meditation is? The purpose of meditation is not, and when I say meditation, I'm talking about the meditation / visualization process. The process of you, the purpose of you meditating and visualizing all the time, several hours a day on the weekends, the whole process for that, the whole reason for that is for you to go off into your vision to this world and extract that frequency in order for you to bring it back out. That's the whole purpose. Because if you understand, and all of y'all will be able to identify with this, some of y'all will, there's going to be a time where you're going to be meditating on something. You're going to, man, I meditated so long. I meditated on that, man, for several weeks. But then one day you're going to say, hey, you know what? I just dang near forgot to meditate. Like I looked up, man, and 3 or 4 days later, man, I wasn't even meditating on it no more. Oh man, I'm slipping. I'm slipping. You're not slipping. You're not slipping. What you've done was bridge both worlds. You know what I'm saying? Like in other words, if you've captured that frequency, what's the point? Like, what's the point of you going into that space? To what are you going in there for? Because now you're meditating in real time, which is the whole point, which is what actual prayer is. Y'all have heard me say this a million times. Now you're praying. Now you're going into a state and nothing else exists. Now you're living in a singular truth. And since you're living in a singular truth now, the world has no choice but to give it to you. I didn't make the rules up. God governs this thing. Now that you're walking in a singular truth, the world has to give it to you. Because all the world is giving us is the result of our actions, our behaviors, our thoughts, our energy, our words. That's all the world is giving us. Like in a singular truth. In a singular truth, I said, man finds himself in a let's say, I'm paraphrasing. Man finds himself in an uncomfortable, in an unfavorable position. I said he has no idea that the exact same recipe that got him in that situation is the exact same recipe that'll get him out. Which means if your actions and your thoughts and your demeanor and your behavior got you in that situation that's unfavorable, those same things with a little tweaking will get you right back out of it. So when you find yourself, man, in these bad situations, man, and trust us. Let me say this. You can get on the gram and the book and think that people's lives are flawless if you want to. You can get on the gram and get on YouTube and think that people's lives are flawless if you want to. You know what I'm saying? You can have people get on YouTube and talk even this stuff I'm talking. Like don't think that my life is without, you know what I'm saying? It's flawless. Don't think that I don't hit hurdles in the road. Don't think that I don't have situations, brother, because I have them. And I'm gonna tell you, the harder you push the envelope of life, the harder you try, the more you quantum leap in life, you're gonna have more and more problems, man. But the thing is this: when you find yourself in that unfavorable situation, just pause for 5 seconds and say, you know what? If my situation is jacked up, say, you know, the first thing you need to do is this. This is the first thing you need to do. The first thing you need to do is say, I caused this. See, you can't walk in this God essence and point the finger at the same time. You can't do it. You can't walk in this essence and say that some other race or some politician or some whoever put you in that situation, because you're forfeiting your power. You're annulling the marriage. Let me say it like that. You're annulling the marriage, man. So the first thing, man, is just take accountability, take ownership of what it is, and say, I caused this, and say, okay, I caused this situation. My situation is unfavorable. I don't like this. But what do I have to do to make this right? Not even what do I have to do. It's more about who do I have to be? Who do I have to become to get myself out of this situation? Yeah, man, my health is jacked up. Yeah, man, my money is jacked up. Own it. Own it, man. And say, you know what, man, if I would have made better decisions over the last year, over the last 2 years with my food and with my spending, I wouldn't be in this situation. Own it. And then get it out the mud, man. And you get it out the mud with your mind, brothers. You get it out the mud, man, with the marriage. The marriage of spirit and ego, bro. It's the most beautiful thing in existence. You think the second marriage of man is beautiful. You think it's amazing, man, when you see a handsome brother and a thick fine sister walk down the aisle, man, and they join forces in matrimony and jump the broom and the preacher give his spiel and everybody is lit. You think that's a beautiful thing. You marry yourself. You're gonna levitate for about 3 days once you do it, man. Like once you feel that God essence run through your veins, brothers, y'all get it. So to answer the brother's question, can I talk about the whole creation process in one YouTube video? It will be a 5-hour video. But I'll tell you this, man. For starters, Never let your spiritual side, never let the Christ side of yourself, never let your soul be influenced by your ego, brothers.